Hello and welcome to Rappler Talk Entertainment. I'm Jello Gonzalez. Our guest today is someone whose songs you may have been listening to recently if you've caught the BINI fever, Nica del Rosario. Nica, welcome and happy Independence Day.
Thank you. Happy Independence Day.
Okay. Nica, welcome to Rappler Talk Entertainment. You first gained national attention when Tala, as performed by Sarah Geronimo, went viral in 2019. And then in 2022, we also saw you in the Lenny Robredo rallies with what eventually became that campaign's theme song, so to speak, Rosas. So tell us about that, that journey from 2022, that emotional high, and then coming off from there, writing the BINI songs.
2022 was a really a roller coaster of emotions talaga. And I went to, I think, like 20-something rallies. And I sang Rosas and Kay Lenny tayo and all of them. So nagkaroon talaga ako ng slight burnout talaga after. Well, hindi slight. Like, I felt really burnt out after the campaign season. And throughout 2023, I didn't get to write any songs for myself. The only songs that I got to write are for work. So specifically, Carrera and Ang Huling Cha-Cha. So during that time period of the campaign season and after, and like the year that followed, yun yung the only two songs I wrote. So this year lang ako nagsa-start mag-emerge from my burnout. So
okay. It was, if the results were different back then, do you think you'd have experienced the same exhaustion pa din naman?
I feel like, I guess the turnout made it worse. But I think the exhaustion still would have been there kasi I still would have gone through all of those rallies, and for those several months, yun lang talaga yung ginawa ko. So like, I think my life revolved around those rallies. So it still would have been the same probably.
Yeah. And was it parang an emotional crash then? Parang it was an emotional high kasi and then, yes.
Honestly, I didn't process it very well right after. Parang when the results came, I wasn't sure what to do with myself. Parang I knew that I just felt na there were a lot of people that that needed comfort. And there were a lot of people that feel pain now when they hear Rosa. So I decided to write that third verse to offer some sense of comfort to everyone. And I guess while doing that, I didn't think about what I can do to comfort myself. So the grieving process took a while talaga to like medyo na-extend siya kasi.
It was 1 year.
Yeah.
Not able to really write anything for yourself. So just Carrera and Ang Huling Cha-Cha.
Yeah.
And the two that was 2022 when you wrote those songs?
2020. I think Carrera was 2022. Ang Huling Cha-Cha was 2023.
Okay. And now they're both part of the Tala Arawan EP. And now your songs are charting again with Carrera, Wag Muna Tayong Umuwi, Na Na Na, and Ang Huling Cha-Cha. They're all in the top 200 of the Spotify daily list, right? So, how do you feel about that?
I'm very excited for the girls specifically because they really deserve the success and the recognition they're getting now. And I think we're all very proud of what they've achieved. So, kasi when I write songs for other artists, talagang I give it to them na. So yeah, I'm grateful that nakapasok sa charts yung 4 songs na yun, but I'm mostly proud of them and what they've achieved.
Okay. You've already revealed a few things about Carrera on your Twitter, right? And most important of which is how it's about mental health and not overly pressuring yourself. And for our viewers, can you share again why this song is dear to you and what does it mean for you to have a group like BINI, made of young women who are now just coming into their own, to have interpreted it?
Carrera is very special to me because I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder years ago. And the message of Carrera is something I eventually learned in therapy. And it's something I have to remind myself pa rin. Like, sometimes I still forget that wala namang deadline with things and I have to put less pressure on myself. And I realized na if it's something I need to remember and to keep in mind. I realized that it's something na kailangan maalala rin ng mga tao. So, I'm honestly surprised and pleasantly surprised na ginagamit siya for graduation ceremonies kasi I'd like to think that it's a good reminder for people na you have your own pace and you shouldn't really compare yourselves with other people.
Yeah. Well, were you that kind of creative worker before na parang, I have to do all of these things?
Yeah, I
Parang
really did.
you were forgetting to tell yourself na, take a break.
I mean, the biggest example I can think of was I set a deadline for myself career-wise na parang I told myself before na I'm gonna try to be a songwriter. If nothing comes out of it by the time I'm 25, I'm gonna change careers. So that wasn't a really good thing to do looking back. But I'm really a perfectionist then when it comes to my work, and I really do put a lot of pressure on myself. And as someone who has a lot of anxiety, parang lagi ako nagmamadali. So I really need a constant reminder to slow down.
So do you put less pressure on yourself?
I try.
You try.
I really try. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But,
okay. Why do you think it's a good fit for BINI? The song was a good fit for
because they're really good role models for the youth now. And these are a group of empowered young women who set a good example for young people out there. So if they relay this kind of message, they also provide comfort and hope for young people who are just trying to get by and like trying to get through their studies, trying to get through their work. So I think sakto na sila yung kumanta ng song.
Yeah. And now this song has entered, the pantheon of Filipino graduation songs. And then we were just talking about it earlier na push din kayo ng konti, right? To talk about that. It's finding the balance, I think, right?
Yeah, it's finding the discipline to work hard, but also to not push yourself too hard. Just, push yourself the right amount.
But not using it as an excuse to...
Yeah, but not to not do anything at all.
Okay. So would you have any more interesting anecdotes to share about the making of the song?
Kasi the thing about collaborating with producers like Bojam, it's so much easier to think of concepts kasi the music is already there. I just have to write over it. And our vision before for that song is like, it's parang pang opening number ng concert.
Okay.
So when I was listening to the music that Bojam produced, parang yung mental images that come into mind is something very intense and something very high-powered. So, yung unang word, like Carrera was the first word that came into mind, so like a race. But I switched it up, like ginawa kong opposite of it being high-powered and high-stress. So parang I made it into this message that life doesn't have to be high-powered and high-stress. So, medyo naging baliktad yung na-imagine ko. But
okay. Now, tell us about yung wag muna tayong umuwi. What can you tell us about your songwriting process for this? And during recording, what was it like communicating the idea or the message of the song to BINI?
Wag muna tayong umuwi was interesting because I forgot that we had a deadline. So Bojam gave me the music like weeks ago, and then parang he asked me like 2 days before the deadline, kamusta yung song? I completely forgot. So I think it's safe to say kinabahan din siya. So I told him, no, I'll write it. I'll write it today. So I didn't have a lot of time. But
Kaya huwag muna tayo umuwi.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
Oo nga, no. But yun nga, I did my usual process with Bojam's music. Like, I sat myself down and imagined what can come out of this music. And yung intro niya kasi may rain effect, and it's very, I don't know, there's something about the music of Wag Muna Tayong Umuwi that's very heartfelt, and it's very like parang soft hours. So I had this image of like two people na naglalakad sa beach, walking hand in hand, and they have feelings that they can't really express. So that's where it all actually started, yung feeling na you're having such a good time with this person na parang you don't want it to end yet. And you have these feelings that you want to express, but you're scared na baka they don't feel the same way. So, yun yung parang vibe nung wag muna tayong umuwi. And yung lagi kong sinishare na trivia about wag muna tayong umuwi was si Bojam actually, parang when we pitched the song to BINI and their management, mahaba kasi yung intro niya, di ba? So parang nilatag niya yung dialogue ng The House of Us, yung nag-aaway sila sa rain. So, just to help like, convey the emotions and everything. So, I think na-memorize na nung girls yung dialogue na yun kasi yun yung version na naaral nila. So, that's
to get them into that
vibe.
To
get them into that vibe. So, that's the story of
Why do you think this is a good fit for the group?
I think wag muna tayong umuwi is about these very young emotions na parang yung feelings mo when ako personally I'm not that young anymore. So those experiences that you go through when you were younger, like falling in love with a friend or like it's very very puppy love, crush ba ako ng crush ko kind of thing. And again, they're role models to young people. So it's nice for them to sing about these experiences that are very relatable to young people. And I think I feel it naman with when people react to the song, like there's a lot of young people who say na nakaka-relate sila and parang there's a lot of hugot with the song.
Yeah, and even the older generation.
Yeah, like parang, I mean, I've experienced it before na parang having feelings for someone. So, it's a very relatable song, and BINI is a very relatable group. So it's a nice thing for them to
So sa beach pala yung mo dyan, yung imagery mo dyan. The
Yeah,
I had of
yeah.
it was like, after a gig.
Yeah, actually,
and you're with
it
someone,
evolved
right?
na
Like,
talaga to say. Kasi
slower
like,
hours.
Yeah, the first line was magkahawa kamay, naglalakad sa may dalampasigan. So that was my that was my initial thing. But now it's evolved into something like there are people who use it as background music, tapos nakaangkas lang sila sa motor ng partner nila, and there are some people who use it as background music sa videos ng vacation nila kasi nga wag muna tayong umuwi. Like ako mismo, I used it in my TikTok na I compiled all of my videos na I took when we were traveling in Japan. So kasi naisip ko parang bagay din siya.
So it's one of those songs na that line really encapsulates a lot na madami siyang pwedeng paggamitan, di ba?
Yeah.
Wag muna tayo gamitin mo siya, di ba?
So I'm glad people took it as their own, and I made it as their own and used it in their own scenarios, situation.
Okay, so we've been talking about songs nga. But can you tell us about but before Tala Arawan, you were already working on other BINI songs, right? But it was a mix. But then Tala Arawan is fully flip music.
Yeah.
Right. So tell us about how you got this project and what was your approach. How are we gonna do this? When the project was offered.
That was mostly kasi si Bojam and Jelly, our CEO. So I guess Star and the management of BINI were really happy with the songs we made so far for them, and so they asked us to produce everything in this EP, and parang naging distribution thing siya. Like Bojam decided na parang okay, I'll produce this one, I'll write this one, and then our other producer Matt will produce this one, and then we have different writers, si Mike who wrote Salamin Salamin, and Jella who wrote Pantropico, and Bojam really has this thing where he likes meeting new talents and new creatives. And like for example, si Kim who wrote na Nandito Lang, she's a Bloom. She's a BINI fan, and Bojam found her when he made this song camp, and he tried collaborating with different songwriters. So it's a very collaborative process that involves different creatives. Like there are younger talents, and there's kami ni Bojam, who's like the usual collaborators, and there's Pao Chavez, who who's also one of our veteran songwriters. So it was a very, parang group project talaga
Yeah.
ng Flip
Kasi
Music.
when you check really the credits, iba itong nagsulat dito,
Yeah.
iba itong nagsulat dito. And, but paano nyo ginawa siya? How did you make it to, become, still a cohesive album in spite of so many collaborators and many different writers? Like, you guys just sat in the room, okay, you guys take this kind of song, we'll do this one.
We actually didn't see each other during the process. Parang I think that's where the magic of Bojam and Flip Music comes in. Na parang he and the other producers and us and the other writers, parang we kind of have the Flip Music sound within us. So kahit hindi kami magkita-kita or kahit hindi kami nag-meeting about how it's supposed to sound, the producers know how to make it organic pa rin, na parang hindi siya parang chop suey of different sounds. Like, they're all different, but they're all still very similar in terms of the flavor of the sound of Flip Music.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to go back. Yung sa Wag Muna Tayong Umuwi. Parang if you compared it to the other BINI songs, it's one of the more mellow and heartfelt ones, right? So, and parang it's more vulnerable than, Salamin-Salamin and the others. And then this one, parang meron ng na parang it's a notch deeper into the feelings, right?
Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah, I'm very happy that honestly nung sinent ni Bojam yung music, kasi it's a lot slower, which means I can be emotional and vulnerable, which is what I really like doing. Like, it's closer to the genre that I'm comfortable with. Like, I really like writing heartfelt things and I'm a very emotional person. So, I like that I got the chance to be vulnerable with this one, and it showed then the vulnerable side then of BINI.
Of BINI.
Yeah.
Right, parang they have all these upbeat
they get to slow down.
Pop songs, right? But then they get to slow down. And then when you see them singing it, you can see that it's a heartfelt experience also for them, right? Yeah. Okay. So you co-wrote Na 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 and Ang Huling Cha-Cha as well. So tell us about those songs.
Na 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 wasn't supposed to be for BINI. It was pitched for for another girl group na hindi natuloy. But it's one of the first songs I wrote actually with Flip. Parang bago pa ako sa Flip na. I think I've been with Flip a year or less than a year when I wrote Na Na Na. It's just a very playful song. Like, when I heard the beat and the music, parang yung naisip ko is very puppy love. So there's a lot of wordplay involved. So I just really made it fun because, it's a girl group, and sumakto rin siya for BINI, lalo na then, because like they were very young and they were just starting out. So it's very fun and very bubblegum pop. Ang Huling Cha-Cha is actually very special to Bojam specifically because if you notice, there are parts of it na medyo parang cha-cha. Because his mom really liked dancing cha-cha, and parang he wanted to create a song that na pwedeng sayawin ng mom niya sa Christmas parties nila, gano'n, na parang cha-cha yung tunog. Unfortunately, she passed when they were recording it pa lang. So, hindi na niya narinig yung full song. But that's what he told me when he sent me the song, na parang, this is very cha-cha yung tunog. So, it would be nice if the concept or the topic that I can write about has kahit the concept of cha-cha involved in it. So, ginaya ko lang
like a personal dedication.
Yeah, for him specifically. So I'm very thankful that he asked me to be part of it. As for yung lyric side, parang ginaya ko lang yung Ang Huling El Bimbo. Parang ibang genre lang. Ibang genre lang ng sayo. Yeah. So, but it's, I mean, it's very, the beat is very playful din eh. So, yung metaphor lang ng cha-cha na it's going backwards and forwards. Parang like yun lang yung ginamit ko for like a relationship that's sending mixed signals, or as the young people call now, a situationship. Yung wala pa siyang label. So, yun, pinaglaruan ko lang yung metaphor of dancing at cha-cha. So,
all right. So is there a back and forth between BINI and then Flip when you were making Tala Arawan?
I'm not super involved in it since nagsulat lang ako. So it's mostly with I think there was a back and forth with mixing and mastering. And I think with Carrera specifically, we added stuff at the last minute. Like, the girls wanted a rap part, so they wrote a rap part. That last outro, it was added lang din at the last minute. So, yung songs talaga, when you pitch it and they approve it, it's not really final talaga. So.
Okay. And who are your, musical inspirations when you were writing these songs? Like, you look at specific artists, okay, I'm gonna take something from this and then transform it into something that works for the group.
Musically, Bojam made me listen to a lot of K-pop. And since it's P-pop and everything, and I'm not super exposed to it. But lyrics-wise, I just imagined them singing it and if bagay ba sa kanila, and they have a very clear voice as to who they are as a group. And like I can hear it clearly in my head. So when I write for them, it's very easy to imagine them singing it. And if it, like that's yung parang test ko sa sarili ko, if I can imagine them singing it and it sounds nice in my head, then it could work out as a song for them.
Okay. Yeah. And what does the success of BINI's Tala Arawan mean for Flip Music? How has the energy been recently at the studio?
Very busy, but also we're very excited with the success of Tala Arawan, and hopefully it can open more doors for Flip as a company, and we are excited to work. I think may mga lumalapit na other labels and other groups to work with us, and we're very excited to keep working with other artists and groups, and like I would love to write for other P-pop groups and P-pop artists. So,
is there something that you would like to, write to be able to creatively challenge yourself in that specific genre? Like,
I usually bounce off of Bojam's ideas talaga because he's really the brains behind our P-pop stuff. But I would like to write more slow songs like Wag Muna Tayong Umuwi for P-pop. Because parang, I think, kulang pa ng slow, vulnerable, heartfelt songs yung genre. So,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's go back to Tala. So, did you talk to Sarah Geronimo when you were
Yeah, I messaged her, sabi ko, I'm releasing my version of Tala. Sana i-promote ka. Tapos, I made her listen to it, and she congratulated me, and she said it was long overdue, and tas in IG story niya. So,
in IG story niya. So, nakapromote na siya.
May approval na.
Okay. Guys, stream Nica del Rosario's version of Tala.
Yes.
So, okay, talk about why you wanted to put out your own version of Tala. Nakulangan ka sa ginawa. Ay, may
Hindi
kinapal.
Hindi.
Parang may magagawa pa ako dito. Sorry,
Hindi,
just joking.
I mean, nilabas ko lang siya kasi ginawa ko talaga siya as my version kasi I used to do gigs before na regular in like BGC. Like, I had a band with Jelly, our CEO, sa Flip, and we would play open mic nights and stuff. And when Tala came out and nalaman na I wrote it, people would request it all the time. But I can't really dance. So I made up my own version, which is a mix of how Tala was supposed to sound and the version that Sarah sings during concerts na I think inarrange ni Sir Louie Ocampo. So that's why it's kind of like a waltz. So nung nilabas ko tong version na to, I guess it's just my own take of it, and because yun nga, at the core of it, Tala is a very heartfelt, vulnerable song. Like, if you like sit down and listen to it, and if you're done dancing to it, it's filled with emotion and it's filled with hope, and I wanna convey it in a different way. So, different yung tone.
And that's really your emotional core, no?
Yeah, that's my comfort zone talaga.
That's your comfort zone, and kasi Tala was originally a slower song, right?
Yeah.
And then Jumbo came in?
Yeah, he overall
give it a more dancey vibe.
Yeah.
So can you talk about that, the song evolving like that?
Kasi
and now it's coming back home to its slower version.
Yeah, si Sarah wanted it originally to be like Up Dharma Down, Coldplay sounding. So it kind of sounded like Tadhana, as in yung original na version ng Tala. But when they approved it, she changed her mind. She wanted a dance song instead. Parang, ang galing nga, kasi she manifested a dance craze kasi she wanted a song that can be a dance craze. So, like several revisions later, si Bojam came in and changed it completely. Like the sound of it. And I was honestly scared because it sounded so different from the original. And at that time, 2015, parang I haven't heard anything like that sa OPM. So medyo natakot din ako sa, but yun nga, he's ahead of his time and he knows what he's doing, and Viva loved it, and I think Sarah loved it also. So so it became what it is now.
Now your version is closer to the original one you envisioned.
It's closer. It's still not the same because this one is yun nga, parang naka-waltz siya, but it's vibe-wise, it's kind of closer to the original.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 1. Like my version now is parang a waltz.
But the Sarah version was 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah, the Sarah version is 4.
Okay. And you added the new verse.
Yeah,
this is your thing also, right?
Yeah.
you added
That's
the
my
verse.
thing.
Baka yung mga, wag muna tayong movie or magka-new verse din yun someday, di ba? When you do your own version.
Sinuggest kasi siya ni
Direk, talk about that.
Sinuggest siya ni Direk Nolan, who's one of our partners in Flip. He's like, you're the only one who can add stuff to these songs because you wrote them. And he was like, why don't you write a third verse? Parang Rosas. But like, I didn't want it to sound like to be like completely like Rosas, yung bridge tapos third verse tapos chorus. So I just added it at the very very end, and the third verse is honestly para siyang sequel nung song because it's talking about the stuff I learned along the way, like from in between 2015 and now. Because when I first wrote Tala, I was just starting to date someone.
Okay.
Now I'm married to that person. So what I learned was, because like Tala talks about like yung end goal nyo is to reach the stars. Like you have this end goal na you have to reach this certain point in your relationship, and then after that, okay na kayo, happily ever after na kayo. And I learned that that's not the case with long-term relationships. So parang that's why there's a line is siguro habang buhay nating aabutin ang ningning ng yung mga. So what I realized is like you and your partner are going to take this journey of reaching, like you're forever going to be reaching for these stars, and that's the beauty of a relationship or a marriage or a long-term bond with someone, is that you're forever going to be on this journey together, and you're gonna grow old reaching for the stars, and that's what's nice about that.
Yeah, because usually you just have this image na once you get married, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the star we have.
Yeah. Parang you're out of the woods na.
Yeah.
So parang it's the journey, not the destination.
Yeah. So this verse is something that comes from your experience of being married and the challenges that are involved with it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What impact, Tala is a very impactful song. What impact do you want to, leave on audiences with your own version?
I guess, because Tala was something everybody danced to. I guess with my version, I guess it's something they can slow dance to, or they can. It is its own love song that people can hopefully listen to when they wanna, feel vulnerable or gusto nila mag-emote. So, people have said it's okay siya pang slow dance kasi it's a waltz nga. I don't know, baka gamitin siya sa weddings or something.
Yeah. And it's a different experience, no?
It's a whole different experience.
The Sarah version and then your own version. You have more time to actually absorb the lyrics, you'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, okay, so when can we expect the 5 years from now, your own version of Carrera?
Maybe.
Baka magkadagdag din.
Baka may life lessons din ako after 5.
Magdagdag. Okay. So, what's, you just released a song, so it's hard to ask na what are your plans after. But yeah, what do you want to achieve in
I'm actually
future?
I'm making an album now.
Okay, yeah.
So,
Talk about that.
I hopefully will release it either late this year or early next year. And I just recorded my first single. So, I think baka mga August siya lalabas. Sinasabi ko na ngayon para...
This August?
Yeah, this August. So,
okay. And ano yung ano mo dito? What will the album be about?
My concept is... it's different. Parang it's different letters to people, like a letter to someone you love, a letter to yourself, or parang yun yung initial concept ko. I'm still writing things and we're still figuring things out. But this album is gonna be for myself na. And, it's been a while, so hopefully it comes out though.
So this August, it's coming out.
Sinasabi ko na ngayon
target,
para
right?
para ma-pressure yung ito na naman yung Carrera.
But boy, hindi Carrera. So baka pwedeng September.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully this August. Pero yun yung
When did you start writing it? Or even planning? When did you start planning okay, I want to put out an album?
Siguro,
when did that germ of an idea start?
Honestly, nung Awit Awards, which was like November last year.
Okay.
Na parang, when Rosas won, it's like, okay, I want my next thing to be, I want to write an album. Because my last album was 2016 pa, I think, or 2017. So, I think I've grown a lot since then. So, so I wrote the first song December, and then tumuloy-tuloy lang siya January, Feb, March.
Okay. Tala will be part of it?
No, kasi this is gonna be all original. So, Tala is a single on its own. Kaya nilabas na namin siya.
Okay. So, this is gonna be your, first really big creative since that time after Rosas, and then if you felt exhausted and right. Are you excited for that?
I'm kind of nervous as to how people will receive it, but I'm excited din naman
okay.
to come out.
No, but at least it's a good feeling that you've come out of that creative exhaustion.
Na parang there's may lumalabas na rin sa akin sa wakas after those 2 years. So
okay, just one last question. What do you think helped you get out of that slump? Just time, or
I think time. I traveled a bit. Like, I found inspiration again. Honestly, nakaka-inspire si Ma'am seeing all of her posts, like traveling everywhere. Like I mean, life moved on for her. Like, so life should move on also for me, and I should look into places that inspire me again. So, I think spending time with people I love, going back to hobbies, mga ganon. So, rest. Like a lot of rest. So.
Yeah. Also, I said it was the last question, but we were talking about this earlier, like the Lenny Robredo rallies. It had some similarities to the crowds that we're seeing with BINI, right? Like when you see the overhead shots, like you had the flashback. Oh my God, it's the political rallies again, right? And then it's inspiring people to draw the members of BINI like they were doing for Lenny Robredo before.
Yeah, tapos naka-pink pa sila.
Tapos naka-pink pa sila lagi lahat. And then the flower symbol nga nila. Okay, Nica, thank you very much for sharing all your stories. I hope you had a great time. And thank you to all the viewers who tuned in. We hope you enjoyed the episode as much as we did. Thank the viewers pala muna.
Thank you so much for listening and joining us. I had fun. Thank you
and
for
ask them to listen to?
Yes, please stream Tala. It's out now on all digital music platforms.
Okay. All right. Guys, thank you again for tuning in. Happy Independence Day. I'm Jella Gonzalez. See you another time.